Greetings, 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 everybody. I appreciate you coming on. I hope that you're doing well tonight. And, has Freemasonry lost its influence? Tonight, we're talking about Freemasonry. Has Freemasonry lost its influence? That's the question of tonight. So please bear with me as people begin to come on because we got to ask this. Straighten my collar. There you go, a little bit better. Has Freemasonry lost its influence? This is the question of tonight, and we got you got to come on in and talk about this because for most of us who proclaim to be Freemasonry and enjoy the fellowship of what it's supposed to be all about, the brotherhood, the connection, giving your word and standing on something, it means something. Has Freemasonry lost its influence? Does Freemasonry has any influence anymore? Or is it just a social club? So tonight we're gonna have this conversation. And also, you know what? I'm gonna throw a little something out for the sisters. Have the Order of the Eastern Star lost this influence? Because we know what the 5 points represent and the colors. We know about those things. We know what the brotherhood represents. Has the Eastern Star in the Freemasonry lost its influence? Let's just throw everything in there and make it some gumbo tonight. We need to have this conversation because as we enter, as we grow, as things begin to change, Freemasonry has to keep up. So you're not going to be meeting in these big, beautiful, fine buildings as long as Corona is around. You're not going to be going to these banquets where you got 600 and 700 people showing up. Freemasonry has to change, and has it lost its influence along the way? What can we do? Individuals who are part of this great fraternal order, the Freemasons Eastern Stars, to slow down the exodus from Freemasonry in the Order of the Eastern Star. This is something we have to ask ourselves. This is something we have to really go and take a view about. It's not about your jurisdiction. There are mainstream Masonic lodges that are closing down, and they got the money. Let's just be honest about it. There are individual grand lodges that are losing buildings because they can't meet, they can't rent them out. There's a lot happening. And if your foundation isn't strong enough, is your Grand Lodge, your jurisdiction going to survive the onslaught of coronavirus and other things that may pop up and you can't go to your beautiful building and meet? Has it lost its influence? There was a time that Freemasons, most of us, knew that Freemasons met at churches. They did. They no longer, they got their own buildings now, so they're not really meeting at the church like they used to. So there was that connection between Freemasonry and the churches in the African American community. This is that conversation tonight. Has Freemasonry lost its influence? And as we begin to break that down and look into it a little bit more, we're going to have to come up with some ways to stop the exodus of individuals and members who are leaving Freemasonry, regardless of your jurisdiction. I don't care if you got 50,000 members in your jurisdiction. I don't care if you got 100 in your jurisdiction. There are members who are doing the exodus move, be it the Eastern Star or Freemasons. This doesn't matter of your jurisdiction and sizes. All of us face the same questions and things that are happening within the Masonic body. So tonight, you can get on the call line if you want. Call in and let's have this conversation in regards to Freemasonry losing its influence. We can all say that once upon a time, a long, long time ago, that Freemason had definitely an influence in the community. It had an influence in all sectors of the United States. Freemasonry played a part. But now, today, 2021, the year, Freemasonry, what does it look like? Does it have its influence? What is happening? So that's where we're at tonight. I appreciate my administrator for coming along. Appreciate your brother Stephen M. Jackson. Thank you for tuning in. Let's just take some questions tonight. Look, if you have something you want to say about this particular conversation tonight, you're welcome to call. That number is 619-286-0642. Give a call tonight. I think this conversation needs to be had, and most people are afraid to have this conversation. Let's just be honest. Most of you are afraid to have the conversation. You don't want to have it because you know that there's an exodus. You know that there are things happening within Freemasonry that is not supposed to be happening. You know that there are members and individuals who are being allowed to come into Freemasonry. You know they're not what you would call a decent member, but because they're your friends and your girlfriends, you allow them to come in. We are those who are gatekeepers of Freemasonry. It is up to us to save Freemasonry. If Freemasonry is losing its influence, it's your fault. It's my fault. That's just the truth. If Freemasonry has no influence, it's because of those members who are in Freemasonry. This is why you have no influence. So we need to have this conversation tonight. It says, Brendan Lewis, there are other organizations out there now, and Freemasonry has lost its ability to be the forefront. And that's something we can talk about. How is it that Freemasonry lost that? What period in time that we could say that Freemasonry began to dwindle down and to become this social organization? As much as we like to throw sand at each other, let's look at it for what it is. Freemasonry has become merely this social organization. Now, there are some strong brothers that are out there. Hey, Morpheus, I appreciate that. I really appreciate your gift and your offering. As a matter of fact, just because you did that, you made me think of this. If you are interested in ordering these gloves, you let me know. If you are a member of John G. Jones affiliation or just want to have a set of these particular gloves, hit me up. We can get these to you. All right. Also, not only that, I talked about the passport. If you are interested in wanting a passport and you are a Freemason, you have to be active, though. You just can't be the one, you have to be an active Freemason. Hit me up. We have these passports that we have here. Hit me up. I'll let you know how you can get one. All right. These are very fine passports. It's very, very thick. Okay. And I really think that you're going to enjoy this passport. You have a place for your picture, your initiation, passed and raised. You will get a kick. Brother Morpheus, your passport is in the mail first thing tomorrow. Thank you for calling me and reminding me what I said I would do. I certainly appreciate it. Now, we're going to get back on tonight's topic. The gloves and the book giveaway tonight. The gloves and book giveaway tonight? I didn't say I was giving away the gloves, did I? Did I say that? I tell you what. You know what? I'll get the gloves away tonight. These are large. I'll give these away tonight. If you know the email address, if you've gotten something from this show once before, I won't give these to you. These are for those who haven't won anything or gotten anything from the show. I will give these to you. Okay? I will give them to you. You know the email address. You got to email me. The first one emails me. I'll see who emails me first, and I'll send them to you. I'll let you know that you were the first. All right? If you don't know the email address, it is jgjafam@yahoo.com. The first one that emails me tonight gets these gloves. I will mail these to you. Okay? I will mail these to you. All right. I appreciate it. Now, with that being said, we're going to get right back to tonight's show. If you want to call in, hit me up. So, is there a book giveaway tonight? You know what? Let me see. Not tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight. I was trying to see what if I had anything over here that I can just pull up and just give away, and there is nothing that I see at this time. But I will definitely make sure I give a book away this month. I'll do that. Who was asking? Let's see. CJ Breezy, number one. Yeah, we're gonna make sure we get a book out for you. We're gonna make sure of that. Look, bro, you can qualify for the passport. Brendan Lewis, you can get the passport, bro. You can get the passport. You know. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You can get the passport, man. Get the passport. But anyway, we're going to get back on tonight's topic in regards to has Freemasonry and the Order of the Eastern Star, have they lost their influence? So now, my personal opinion in the mere fact, whether they have or have not lost their influence, it ebbs and it flows. Let me tell you why. And I say that because I see that Freemasonry still has influence in various places. Let's put it like that. Freemasonry still has influence in various places because of the people or individuals who are member of Freemasonry who are in these different and various positions. That's the truth. But as collectively, as an organization in the many different jurisdictions, yes, Freemasonry has lost its influence in that purpose. Because we all know once upon a time that in your community, it was it meant something to say that you was part of Freemasonry, that you was a member of the Order of the Eastern Star. It meant something. That's why so many of us today are a part of the Freemasons, the Eastern Stars, because it meant something. Now, does it mean the same thing that it once did? I don't think so. I don't think you can walk down the street and puff your chest out and say you're a Mason, and people say, "Well, damn, I want to be a Mason." I think they look at you and say, "Okay, like a relic, like something old." Okay, so you're a Freemason. What that mean? How is that going to help me? Your motto say you help good men become better men, but I don't see that happening. So how's Freemasonry going to help me? That's what I see. That's what I see in the various communities when people puff their chest out and say that they're Freemasons. So the question still remains: has Freemasonry lost its influence? And we can talk and go, we can talk and we can go deep on this all night long. I'm just saying the mere fact of how Freemasonry has lost its influence by the individuals that we've allowed to come in. Travel light traveler. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, man. I really do. Thank you very much. I just think that Freemason has done this thing by allowing people to come in and really not holding the standards. That's just true. I don't care what jurisdiction. I believe that Freemasons has lost its influence because we have lowered the standards of individuals coming in. Because we want the membership, because we want that dollar. Be honest. You wanted that dollar, you wanted your lodge to be the biggest lodge or whatever. So now you're allowing everyone to come in without really doing the necessary things that is needed to protect the organization, to protect your lodge, your chapter, your jurisdiction. So you've allowed people to come in and assume positions and get into these positions. They have stole money. They have robbed your lodge, your grand lodge. It is true. And then you upset because now you can't afford that building that you have. In Freemasonry, you can't just walk around and thump your chest no more. It's not like that. There are too many competitive forces like TV, internet, and movies, etc. Well, we've always, as an organization across the world, Freemasonry has always had that competition. Be it Greek fraternities in the historical Black colleges, we've always had that that competition. It's always been there. TV has always been there. Okay, what competition we haven't had? The internet competition is new, but you know what? We can evolve into that because when the internet first came on and was booming, Grand Lodges were developing websites and doing various things, and they were, it has helped. I mean, there are jurisdictions that have their own websites. They are there. That's great. That's good. But now we're dealing with this new thing called coronaviruses and other entities. Not only with the TV, not only with the internet, not only with the PlayStation 5, 6, and 7, not only with other. It's just so much. You are right. But Freemasonry has always maintained its competitive edge. The question is, what has happened to the competitive edge of Freemasonry? Is it not being taught? Have those who had the influence once upon a time allowed Freemasonry to die? And those who came in office did not know how to maintain that stability of Freemasonry to keep it alive. And now we're looking at an organization, dry bones. The dry bones. I mean, there are people there, but they're dead men walking. There are sisters who are dead sisters walking. Freemasonry in its competitiveness to keep the edge has lost the edge because of who they've allowed to come in across the board. Simple. If we would change the standards of Freemasonry and remove it from being this social organization to being this prideful organization of those selected members who they allow to come in. Because we all know at once upon a time, you had to be selected to come into Freemasonry. Not only were you was handpicked to become a Mason. Simple. People say Masons don't recruit. That's a lie. We've always recruited. Masons, once upon a time, individuals in the Masonic Lodge would watch a young man develop, okay, as he come up, and they would pull him to the side. They would conversate with him. You know, if they knew that you was, growing up and you was this star athlete, whatever, they seen that, and they would pull you to the side. I would say this in regards to my own coming into Freemasonry. You know, I used to work at a mental health institution in clinic, as a matter of fact. And the gentleman who was one of the psychologists there was a Freemason. And he pulled me to the side and asked me what did I think about being a Mason. And I was already interested. And this is when I was in Mississippi. And before I finished off my application, I moved to California. And this was back in 86, early part of 86. So in looking at that, Freemasons in the Sisterhood of the Order of the Eastern Star, we're going to have to be selective of those who we allow to come in. We're going to have to, I mean, if you want the cream of the crop, go get the cream of the crop. Stop allowing just individuals to come in. Then they said we are devil worshippers. Yeah, that didn't help. But you know what? You can bank off that. Let's keep it real. Somebody saying that you're a devil worshiper, someone who don't know the craft, and they're saying these things. Hey, you can actually grow off of that by actually breaking that down to someone. You know, so there's so much out there. I mean, and I agree with what the individual said, but we're going to have to stop the exodus somehow, some way. We're going to have to do something to galvanize those individuals and members who are already in the organization to move the organization forward. I recently put a curriculum together that would make it very difficult to become a member of our lodge, thus improving the standards. We'd rather have 4 quarters versus 100 worthless pennies. Absolutely. Bruh, Brother Lewis, I agree with you 110%. I really do. Because it needs to be difficult to become a Mason. It needs to be difficult to become an Eastern Star. That needs to be some set standards. We all know that there were once standards, and those standards are still out there. But we have watered down the standards. You're willing to take on any and everybody. It starts by some grand master getting their hands out of their ass, their heads out of their ass, and humbling themselves to see that the changes need to happen. I'm going to let this show. Boom. Absolutely, Jay. You're absolutely right. You know, it does. And it also starts with the Wishful Master, too. You in your Grand Lodge or the members within your jurisdictions, you're going to have to start making those changes that's going to make it difficult for those who just wish to seek membership just to say that they're a Mason. It's going to have to mean something. You're going to have to go and get those. Listen to what I'm saying. You're going to have to go and get those individuals who are doing things in your community. That activist that's out there on the corner, on the streets, that activist, you need them in your lodge. You do. You need them in your chapter, sisters. That sister out there that's raising hell on the corner, activist, you need them in your lodge. You need them in your chapter. That person who goes to the council meeting or the ultimate meeting every week, that individual who stands up there and talks to the council, letting them know, we watching you, you need them in your chapter. You need them in your lodge. You know, Mr. Johnson, that police officer down the street, you need them in your lodge, in your chapter. You need those type of people, but you need to vet them. And by vetting them, there are standards. They need to understand that this is not a cakewalk organization where you come in, you put your application in, okay, you pass the background check, and you seem like a pretty cool dude. Come on in. No, that needs to change. And if it doesn't change, this organization is not going to last. And it may, you know what? That's something you may have to think about. Something you may have to think about. I personally believe that we who are members of the Freemason Order of the Eastern Star needs to start carrying ourselves in such a way that it separates you from the other organization. As the brother said out there, you want to be set apart. And if people are saying, well, you're a devil worshiper, you think so. That's why you're not a member, because you have no idea. You don't know. So we need to start putting our own information out in regards to Freemasonry. I'm not saying you need to put out everything, but you know, there needs to be some secretive, some serious secretness to Freemasonry. Instead of just, you can go by ritual now. It is all out there. But the journey to become, the journey for the initiation, the passing and raising needs to be special. And right now, I can say, in some jurisdictions, it's not special. It's not. To be raised a Mason, passed, initiated, it's not as special as it once was. I can say that. I've actually gone to a lodge meeting, initiation, I fell asleep. That's the God honest truth. And one of my brothers was like, come on, man, come on. Because it was boring. The initiations is watered down, they're boring. They need to be exciting. They need to be to the point where that person is like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Yeah, you wanted this? Come get it. This is what we're all about. Not about beating your ass and breaking you down, and not that. I would say this in regards to my own jurisdiction. If an individual is initiated into this jurisdiction, we don't put hands on you. But you're gonna damn sure you gonna wish to God, you're gonna like, what am I doing? Do I really want to do this? We're gonna make you think. That's a fact. That's a fact. I would tell you this. If you came and was allowed to visit our initiation, you're gonna think, wow. We ain't gonna even put no hands on you. No hands. But you're gonna think, should I have done this? That's the God honest truth. Should I have done this? You can read the initiation in any Masonic book, because you can get it from Barnes and Noble. But I tell you this, the one that you're gonna get here, and when you read it in that book, you'll be like, I don't know. I don't know if I should have did this or not. I can only speak from what I know. Okay, and the ones across the border, those are another one. They make you think, should I have done this? You know, and that's what it should do. It should make an individual think, should I have done this? This is something, it's like gives you chills. Mason, being initiated a Mason, it doesn't give you chills anymore. It doesn't. Not like it used to. When brothers understand and teach that it is more of a mod recognition, okay, a Freemason that worth keeping private. If that's all we're teaching, then that itself is part of the problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. Andre Walker, you are 100% right. Oh, man, let me tell you. I would tell you this. We had a brother. His name is Christopher Thomas. Not Christopher Hurd Thomas. That's my high priest. But we had a brother named Christopher Thomas. Brother was a Christian to the heart. Deputy Grand Master told that young man, if you get initiated a Freemason in this jurisdiction, we will make you change your mind about everything you thought you knew. Ooh, that guy almost lost his wife. He almost got a divorce from his wife. It was like, we was like, dude, dude, we had to literally calm this brother down. I mean, literally, it was hilarious. For about 3 years, this brother was on the verge of having a divorce. The things that he was the infant, that's the truth. I have no need to lie to you. I should call him up tonight. He'll be like, "Oh, Brother Hawkins, you have to tell that story." But it's true. And I believe, and to my heart, that Freemason needs to be that mysterious organization. It needs that because that's how it was built. That's how it was started. It needs that oomph to it. Unlike any other organization, it needs that. It does. Greetings, everybody. Could you please hit the thumbs up button for me? I certainly appreciate it. I appreciate it. Randolph Taylor, cause of most politics, favoritism. Yeah. Greetings, Charles. How you doing there, bro? It's good to see you up tonight. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. Yeah, Freemasonry. The essence and secrecy in the parking lot of the ritual. You can buy that in a book. Absolutely. But that needs to mean something for the initiate. The secrecy of Freemasonry needs to mean something to the person who's being initiated, passed, and raised. If the secrecy means nothing, and you can read it in a book, you lost your edge. But if your initiation demands secrecy, your initiation demands the fact that you must carry yourself a certain way. The mere fact that you are a Mason should tell somebody that, you're a part of something that is a lot deeper, a lot more meaningful than anything else. That alone. But in the absence of not having that in your lodge, in your chapter, you cheapen Freemason. It cheapens. It doesn't have that flavor anymore. It doesn't arouse your curiosity to say, I'm a Mason, I'm an Eastern Star. You have that chip on your shoulder because when you walk in a room, you demand presence. So this is where we're at tonight. We got to stop cheaping, making Freemasons such a cheap organization. It is. It's a cheap organization. Because we don't demand nothing. Until you and your lodges, your jurisdiction start demanding secrecy, respect, until you start demanding that, your organization, it is going to be cheap. Dime a dozen. But you have to demand that. You have to demand that when your members come to your lodge meeting, they need to be dressed. Okay? You need to set protocols. I would say in this jurisdiction, in the summer, when you come to lodge meeting, it's polo shirts, slacks, shoes. It's hot. Okay? Wintertime, black and white. So we demand that. You're not just going to come up in here in your sneakers and short pants. Well, I'm late. No. Put your stuff in the car. When you make it to the meet, change up, freshen up, come on in. But you're not going to cheapen the organization because you're running late. You're absolutely right. They do. They have that old money. They have invested long term in that old money. There's so much more. I'm going to share this with you. And because of who they are and how they got started and the whole mainstream Freemasonry thing, I'm going to tell you this. I respect the way they do business. Period. Bar none. It sets them apart from everybody else. They have lost a lot of money because people have stolen money from them. Their secretaries and churches they really have. Okay? But in the process, the way they do business, I can say that, hey, I like it. I do. But I can also say on this side of the spectrum, I like the way we teach. We may not have the money in the big, beautiful building, but I like the way we teach. I like the way when a brother comes in, it's respectful. It's demanding something from him, that he's part of something bigger than himself. He's part of a brotherhood. He's part of a brotherhood that when he makes the phone call to his lodge brother, that they're going to do what they say they're going to do. The organization is not going to be cheapened because he's in now. It's going to become stronger because he is in now. Her chapter is not going to be weakened because she can't hold up her end in the bargain. It's going to be stronger because she can hold up her end in the bargain. And this is what has happened. We've brought in people who can't hold up their end of the bargain of being a Mason and an Eastern Star. So when you look at that, we have lost our influence because of that. I don't care if your Grand Lodge or Lodge may have $250,000 or whatever the amount of money in the bank. But if you can't maintain the membership and the respect of the organization and the influence that the organization has lost, then we all lose. We all lose. It's you know, the thing is that we must understand those individuals or people out here who don't understand the various things about different jurisdictions. Greetings. Who am I speaking with?
Greetings. This is Brother Harold J.C. Hicks of Most Worship of Florida Grand Lodge. Secretary, I got your email, and I was just letting you know that I had sent a response back to the email, and I was just giving you a heads up that I let you know I received your email, and I gave a response back to the information that you asked me for.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. I'm live right now, and so I'm gonna hit you back as soon as I'm done. All right.
Talk to you later.
I appreciate it.
I get live on the show and chat.
All right, Dan. Thanks. All right. Hey, I appreciate that, brother. He sent me an invitation to their Masonic event that they're going to be having in Florida next month. So I might try to check it out. I appreciate him giving me a call. Let me know. But back to the topic at hand, in regards to Freemasonry losing its influence, and as I was saying, in regards to the money that these various, the mainstream brothers, they got the money. Let's just be honest. Okay, in regards to having the money, that's great. In regards to having the big buildings, that's great. But the teachings and essences of having the secrecy and the respect of the organization, to maintain the harmony and beauty of the organization, to speak out against the injustices and be active, to me, that counts more than just having the money. That's just my opinion. Being a member in my jurisdiction, that's just my opinion. Greetings, how can I help you?
How are you?
I'm okay. Who am I speaking to?
This is Brother Walker from North Carolina.
Hey, Brother Walker, how you doing?
Most Worship with Keystone Grand Lodge.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute. How you holding up?
I'm doing good. It's funny because I just was thinking about you, and I said I must not be getting the notifications no more because I know he's still up there somewhere. And then I got a notification said you was on live tonight about one of the best topics of Freemasonry right now.
Okay, well, talk to me.
So this is just my take on it, just listening to what's going on and, being in the craft and, the struggles that we've been having down here in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that until we decide as members that Freemasonry is more than just an emblem on a car, or more than just a picture that we can take to say that this is what we are,
mm-hmm.
the members that's coming in ain't going to get the benefits of the craft. Because every time we turn around, like you said, we got brothers that's coming in that half of them ain't even been through a full investigation.
Right.
Half of them bringing in just their friends and their homeboys that don't meet the qualifications of being a Freemason. Because you got some brothers that's coming in that don't want to learn about the history of Freemasonry.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to learn the history about being black. They don't want to learn the history about what everything that Freemasonry has to teach. They ain't even started Some of them are satisfied by just having the modes of recognition and learning that, and think that that's all Freemasonry has to offer.
Right.
But until we get down and start putting the pressure on these worshipful masters, like you said, and on these grand masters and on these senior and junior wardens, then the problem is going to continue to persist.
Mm-hmm.
Because until we turn around the academic side of Freemasonry, really make these candidates study, really make these EAs and these LCs really understand what they're a part of, then we fail it. Because it starts at the interview.
Right.
That's where it starts. If we doing a passive investigation, then we the ones that's at fault for the members that's coming in that's sorry.
And the question that Black Sun has, a great question. In today's society, what does Freemasonry has to offer? I mean, let's look at this. Let's have this honest conversation tonight, because look, we know most brothers of the craft and most people do not want to talk about it. What does Freemasonry have to offer that no other organization has to offer? What is it?
Okay, I can name a couple of things.
I'm listening.
A true education of life through religion and the fundamentals of being a human being.
Okay.
Because I don't think that you can join any Greek organization. I don't think that you can join any non-profit organization that's going to bring you together with so many brothers from so many different nationalities and religions and give you a concept of a better life.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't seen that yet, because I've met with Greeks. And
I tell you what, since you said that, the question is, has Freemasonry lost its influence?
Has Freemasonry what?
Lost its influence.
I think in certain circles, Freemasonry has lost its influence because of the people that are in Freemasonry. But I think brothers that stand on their ground and continue to live as Freemasons should live,
mm-hmm.
and still carry it with the respect that it should be carried in, that the people that's around them, it still has that finesse, it still has that stigma of what it used to be. But when you have brothers that they'd rather go to a cookout than go to their lodge meeting,
mm-hmm.
they'd rather go to a birthday party to get drunk than to go to their lodge meeting, then the people that's around that person that's affiliated don't
mm-hmm.
have the respect, because that member don't have the respect.
Right.
But when you got guys out here that's pushing like me, when you got guys that's pushing like you, and a lot of other brothers that still carry it with that same respect,
mm-hmm.
then the people that's around that have the respect for the affiliation.
Okay.
But if we're not going to stand up and really teach this thing the way it's supposed to be taught, and like you said, have brothers that come in and really question, why am I really here?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like now in today's society, one of the first questions that should be asked to anybody trying to come in is, if you couldn't tell nobody that you was a Freemason, if you didn't have no political gain, no type of connections to nothing but a sense of how learning and education to better yourself on a spiritual level and to better your family life on a mental level, then why are you here? Would you still join? Because I see so many people right now, they get caught up in the stigma of thinking that this Greek. This ain't Greek. We're not out here to post everything on Facebook and tell everything that we know. I know Masons that's been in the organization for 10 to 15 years that still don't know nothing about the craft. Just because all they were satisfied with was the modes of recognition to get into a dance. That ain't something that I'm ready to do. But until we start to continue to push the brothers that's coming in to be on their square, about their business, about the craft, and learn what it really is, then we're going to see it. We're going to let people come in, because we're looking for numbers. We ain't looking for the quality of a member. But if we're going to look for the quality of a member, then yeah, we're going to blackball a lot of people.
And that's what we should be looking for. The quality. Hold on. You're on a roll. And I appreciate that. But you said we should be looking for the quality of the member And as you said beforehand, and what in regards to what Freemasonry offers, then if that be the case, in regards to Freemasonry offering what you said earlier, then all of this BS that we do to each other should cease. It should like be squashed. It should say, okay, you do you, I'll do me, and I'll move forward. Instead of trying to tear down the next Mason who's not in your jurisdiction.
You know what the problem?
Go ahead.
That problem is the reason why folks is tearing down other Masons because they don't understand the craft.
Well put. Well put.
It's no way. It's no way that you can meet on the level and part on the square. There's no way you can do that if you tear down a brother. It's no way. It's no way. Because like me and you have talked in times past, it's a whole lot of stuff that's going on right now that didn't go on back then. It didn't go on, but ain't nobody trying to sit down and spend the money to buy the books. Ain't nobody trying to fellowcraft. Ain't nobody trying to come together and fellowship. Ain't nobody trying to talk to find out what was going on 100 years ago. For the people that's got the books, for the people that's been investing that time and that energy and that money and that blood, sweat, and tears, they don't want to talk to them because it don't look nothing like what they want Freemasonry to be right now. They think it's a game, or they think it's a cult or something to be blowed up like a blood or a crip or something. That ain't us. We about education and bringing up, like we say, pillars in the community. But you got to be able to sit down and do the hard work of understanding what the craft is before you can go out here in the street and try to bring somebody else in. If you've been in the organization 10 years and all you know is the modes of recognition, then go back, learn something. Sit down for a minute. Go somewhere outside of your jurisdiction and find out what else is going on.
Hey, bruh, you on a roll. I wasn't going to even touch that. You on a roll, and you are so right. This is the interesting part.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. This ain't for you because me and you done talk so much. This for the brothers listening.
Go ahead.
If you not the worshipful master, and your worshipful master ain't better in your lodge, then why you vote for him? If you got a grand master that ain't trying to get united Grand Lodge of states to come together and either form a Congress or do dual recognition, not only in the United States, but outside of the United States, then you ain't doing your job as a Grand Master and you ain't doing your job as a worshipful master.
Ooh.
So learn what the craft say that the job title is supposed to be doing and sit back and govern yourself accordingly to make sure that your vote is going to the right person. Because if all you doing as a worshipful master is initiations, you ain't teaching nobody nothing. If all you doing is initiations and a plate sale and taking pictures, then your lodge ain't growing off of nothing in the intellect. It's growing and bringing in people off of the pictures that you portraying to yourself or what you trying to be. But that ain't Freemasonry because we quiet. Your members should be coming to look for you. When you learn as I'm talking too fast because there's too many people up here right now.
Go ahead, start, bro. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You got to be looking for this. You shouldn't have to go out and do stuff to get people to come in because your work should speak for itself. You don't have to put everything that you do on Facebook to get people to be drawn to you because the members gonna have enough pride to put on paraphernalia by their damn self. They're gonna have enough pride to do that.
Yeah.
Because guess what? The people that's coming around them, it's going to be the people that want to join. But because I see y'all got 95 people in y'all lodge, if y'all ain't teaching what Freemasonry is supposed to be teaching, then guess what? The only thing you're going to be able to offer them is another degree to make them stay.
You said another degree to make them stay.
So at the end of the day, once you through giving out degrees and you ain't got nothing else to give them, guess what they're going to do? They're going to turn their back on you because they done got that reputation of being a Freemason. They don't have the intellect of what a Mason really is and what he's supposed to stand for. Because if he stood for what he was supposed to stand for, half the people in the organization and this affiliation wouldn't even be in here. They wouldn't even be in here because they don't have the patience to sit down, learn, and wait. and understand and let Freemasonry mold you into the man that you're supposed to be. Because everybody that's a Freemason should be God sent.
Wait a minute, hold on, time out.
You was first made.
Wait a minute. No, bro, back that up. Repeat that again. You said every what?
Every Mason is supposed to be God sent. Because God gives you the desires of your heart, but he put the desire in there. So the Masons are chosen.
That leads you to the first question that was ever asked in regards to being a Mason.
Exactly. Where was you made a Mason? But they don't understand that because they don't go back and look at what the ritual would tell them about themselves. Because if they went back and looked at what the ritual would tell them about themselves, they put a lock on the door, stand there with the sword in their hand, and be real cautious about who they let in. Why? Because one, every brother that comes into this affiliation has the privileges that you have to the intellect of being a better person to grow spiritually. And everybody know that a man, whether he black, white, Asian, brown, or whatever, that has spiritual knowledge of himself and who God is, you can't stop him. You can't stop it. Not only that, but you got Eastern stars that's coming up on the right side and the left side of them. That is what? Our daughters, our widows, our mothers, our sisters. So right there in the mix, you ain't gonna let somebody come in your house and date your daughter that ain't right. You gonna come into your affiliation and sleep with every Eastern star that's in there, turn the other cheek, but you don't want to talk about that.
Boy, you gave me chills.
You don't want to talk about that. But they're supposed to be your sisters. But I say this, for every brother that ain't took that obligation, them ain't y'all sisters, them our sisters. Leave them alone. Go back and find out what that affiliation is all about. Because information ain't a brother to a sister.
Information ain't a brother to a sister. Damn. Woo-wee.
Your worshipful master ain't teaching you about that, and you don't know about that. So that might mean that you need to find out who the next worshipful master should be and not who he is right now.
Dang. Boy, I ain't got nothing else to say. I should just close the show on that.
North Carolina. This was a topic that I've been waiting for somebody to bring up for a long time, Brother Hawkins. And me and you, we always talking. But I done missed you for the last month or two, but you was on my mind tonight, and I got that notification.
Well, I'm glad you got it, bro, because you went in hard right there. I mean, it was like non-stop. I'm like, yes, like the brother said, pass the damn collection plate, because what you spoke was absolutely true. And another thing is that if people took the time to really understand the language of Freemasonry, Freemason has its own language. It has its own writings. And I've had this discussion with a few brothers in my lodge and outside of the lodge in jurisdictions, in various jurisdictions. Freemasonry has its own writings and language. If I wrote you a letter in the Masonic language, would you be able to read it and write it back to me? You know, and that's another beautiful thing. But in tonight's topic, has Freemasonry lost its influence because we don't teach those things? We don't teach the true essence and secrecy of Freemasonry. We don't. And when I say we, at times I say, yeah, in my lodge, yeah, we get lazy. I ain't gonna lie. But the essence and secrecy needs to be taught and kept. And this is what, in my opinion, right now, is going to save Freemasonry.
Hey, I wish they would do two things.
I'm listening.
I wish they would do two things. Number one, I wish they would make practicing Freemasonry illegal. And I'm going to tell you why.
Wait a minute. Time out. Before you go there. You know, I said this about a year ago. It's going to get to a point. Trust me. It's going to get to a point. But go ahead.
Listen, I wish they would do it because guess what? That'll weed out half of the weak right there.
He said if they made Freemasonry illegal, it will weed out half. Half
of the week.
Oh, you wait a minute. Let's narrow this down. Wait a minute. Let's narrow this down. Hold on just a second. Hold on. You said it will weed out half. Are you speaking half of Freemasonry across the board or half of the black? Half? I need to understand. Are you talking all or are you talking different?
I'm talking about half of Freemasonry in the United States of America.
If they made it illegal, most people would drop out.
At least 50%, if not more.
You know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. If they did that, I think that would be awesome. That would be the catalyst for Freemasonry.
I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people don't understand that in the United States, we got the freedom of religion. Freemasonry wasn't born over here. It came over here. And one of the things that people don't understand about it is that the freedom to practice religion and study different types of religion was founded and was able to be brought together through Freemasonry.
Well put.
That's one of the key things that people don't understand is that if you were Christian or if you Islamic or if you were Buddhist, whatever, you would have the body of Freemasonry to come to and be able to study your religion and your belief and be able to have a different dialect with people of different faiths and not be killed or persecuted by it. But they don't understand that part. So that's going to be half gone right there. The other half of them don't even remember their obligation on the first, second, or the third. They don't remember the modes of recognition. So if you had to take a test or if you had to be tried in the street from the first to the third to even be able to have access to a door that'll give you a place to sleep at night, half of them has to be outside.
Oh, no.
We ain't even gonna go into the Royal Arch. And the reason why I say that is because you go back to your lodge, you pick 5 brothers in there and tell them to give you the obligation of the first 3 degrees and give you all the passes, the grips, and the signs. And if they fail, they can't come to the next meet. Hell, half of them ain't.
Oh man, you tearing it up right now, bro.
But I guarantee you that they got a hat, they got a belt, they got a coat, they got 2 license plates.
You know what? You gave me an idea. My lodge meeting is this Saturday coming up. I think I can put that on the floor as a motion.
Listen, anytime that you got brothers come to a lodge,
dang, I like that.
You come through the door. When they tell you when you come through the door after you've been made, make sure you come early so you ain't got to knock to get in. You got a fucking problem. If that's the knowledge that we telling brothers, come to your lodge meeting early so you can come on in. That way you ain't got to worry about knowing everything. Then that's a problem in itself. My spiritual master tell you, meeting at 7 o'clock, at 6:30 the door locked. Everybody got to knock it, one at a time.
Oh my God, man! You gave
don't play that,
bruh. I'm gonna tell you right now. You gave me 2 great ideas. You did. I mean, you handed them to me on a damn silver plate. I mean, we got our meeting starts this Saturday at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. No, it's actually our Blue Lodge meeting starts at 6 o'clock. I think we need to lock the doors, and then whoever comes in, they need to knock and work their way in on all 3 degrees. Golly. Now that alone, oh my goodness.
That'll get the other 25%.
Dang.
That'll kill the other 25%.
That's gonna kill the other 25%.
You got 25 left. And they ain't gonna tell you how to break them down. They can figure that out for themselves.
Dang.
Brother Hawkins, you don't know, boy. I done had this conversation pinned up for the last 6 months.
Bruh, you had a lot to get out. You let it all out. I've enjoyed it. I'm telling you, I've enjoyed it. You had so much that was pinned up. I let you go. Don't interfere when a brother's on a roll like that. You need to let it go. Let him get it all out.
But if brothers would take the time And that's what it's about. If brothers would take the time to actually learn what they're about, if brothers would take the time and have the pride of being a Mason to sit down and really evaluate the person that they're giving a petition to, if they would really just do that and ask the hard questions, the uncomfortable questions, because this is what I don't understand. I hear so many people talk about white folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hear so many people talk about white folks on the job and how hard this interview was to get this job and how they had to go through this and that at the bank. But if you would answer all them questions to get a job, and you would answer all them questions to get a loan from a bank, then why is it that as men, we don't ask the questions that will protect our family from somebody that might come in to bring home?
Man.
That's what you got to look
Man.
at. Because I bring our daughter to our events. I bring my wife, who is an OES member, to our events. I bring my family, my mama, my son.
By the way, how's she doing anyway?
My uncles.
How's she doing anyway? You let her know I said hello. Because I don't need her to be calling me.
She doing good. But you think about that.
Mm-hmm.
When you bringing a brother in, you bringing somebody in that is gonna have a gateway to your family, and not just your family, but all the brothers in the large family.
Yeah.
They grandkids and they daughters and they young sons. So when you bring somebody in that's counterfeit, that came off of your name.
Ooh.
It came off of your name.
Yes,
So
sir.
if you bring a whoremonger in that mess around and sleep with somebody's wife that got weak, you took an obligation that you wouldn't do that.
Oh. Yeah.
If you bring somebody in that's a child molester and he go over here and touch this Mason's son's butt that's 5 years old, that man on your name.
Mm.
That man on your name. But see, people, this what brothers do. They take their obligation lightly. It's a part in there at the end that say, help me to keep and perform the same. But see, when they heard the penalties of their obligation, they didn't understand that when they said perform the same, that meant to carry out the penalty of that obligation.
Bruh, here's the thing. We do know once upon a time that those penalties really meant something. They really meant something.
Hey, bro, Hawkins.
But now,
once upon a time for me, it still means something.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying that you fit that category. I'm just saying when you talk about the majority of Freemasons, and when you talk about those penalties, they don't, yeah, okay, all right. Does he really mean it?
They say it's the dramatics of coming in.
That's why when a brother's, in my own opinion, when a brother or a sister who's being brought into the Order of the Eastern Star, they should be damn near terrified.
Hey, listen.
That's just me.
This the crazy part, right? This the crazy part about it is that 90% of the brothers and the sisters that's coming in don't have a ritual old enough to tell them what the move is supposed to be in the lodge during that time.
Mm.
It says it's supposed to be solemn and serious.
Absolutely.
But when you got guys that's standing back laughing, when you got guys standing back and they talking and pointing and laughing, you shouldn't even be able to walk around behind the candidate.
Mm.
But you got brothers that's doing it. You can't check to see if he in due form if you walking beside him running your fucking mouth. You can't even check. But if the merciful master calls you and say, be quiet, tell me what the purpose and what is due for, his ass won't be at another initiative. Because he'll be in his feelings because he got checked the way he was supposed to, and he'll say, man, they ain't going back over there. They tried to play me. But at the same time, you took an obligation that says that you will listen to wise counsel. But because you get scolded as a man, your pride won't let you listen. Your pride won't let you listen.
Right.
So you step back. Leave because your homeboy didn't get voted worshipful master because you.
I've actually seen that. Look.
Because you don't get to sit in the South.
Bruh, I've actually seen in my own lodge, I've actually seen a brother who did not get elected to a Grand Lodge position leave the lodge and take a couple of members with him. I actually seen he went to a whole other jurisdiction.
Look, but check this out.
Go ahead.
Freemasonry tells you, beware of the brother that's seeking the seat. It says, beware, separate yourself from him because he is not worthy of the seat, because he is choosing the seat and not the people choosing the seat for him. It says, beware, stand back from that brother. Let his actions separate him from the lodge.
Yeah.
But they don't want to get a book that talk about the philosophy of the way a Mason should be. Because it's too high on the totem pole for them to stand up as an upright man in Mason.
My God, boy, you on fire like grease in a skillet. Jeez. Hey, you just broke it down. I mean, you man. Hell, I'm speechless, Terrell, for real. You know, and the thing is, like the brother said, purge. He said purge. Absolutely. And the thing that I'm finding in my own journey, and I love the journey, is that along this way, as I said, this is my thing now, is to be the example. That's my thing. To be the example. When I got younger brothers coming in, I still have that fire. I want to be the example. I want them to approach me, and I'm going to approach them and let them know, young man, in this organization of Freemasonry, this is how you must carry yourself. This is the expectation. One brother said, well, what does Freemasonry has to offer? You won't know until you get there.
Hey, guess what I tell them when they say that?
What you say?
I tell them the keys to life.
Ooh, the keys to, you know, man.
It's the keys to life.
That's deep. That's deep.
Because you got to think about this. Freemasonry, what makes Freemasonry so great, one of the things that makes Freemasonry so great is that it doesn't pick a religion. And Freemasonry adapts to the belief of the religion or the belief system of good moral standings. That's why I said that we are the best foundation.
I like that.
We are the best foundation because anything that of good moral standards that lines up with the belief of the one true God, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to back up. Any foundation that starts with the education of the one true God, of good moral standings, is the foundation of Freemasonry. Yeah. Because one of the first principles of all good moral faith-based religions is to do unto others as you will have them to do unto you.
Absolutely.
To love one another. So if the basis of your belief is that, then that creates a humbling experience when you start to grow in wisdom and think that you're better than somebody else.
Absolutely.
So in the process of that, that's why I said that we meet on the level.
Yep.
To teach you the moral standards that nobody is greater or lesser than his brother.
That's absolutely correct.
So instead of judging, it says Freemasonry says, pity the man that did not understand the land that he had before him because he didn't want to accept the knowledge.
Right.
It says, do not argue with the person that has no understanding of what you are.
Mm-hmm.
But we stand back and we go back and forth with 4-letter and 3-letter, but you don't understand the person that you are that's arguing about a letter.
Oh my God. Oh man, this has been great.
About a letter that the affiliation that you have teaches spiritual. A letter is common. A spiritual is everlasting. So if we're trying to get into the kingdom of heaven, regardless of what form you put it in, the ladder ain't going to get you there. It's your spiritual belief and your conduct on earth. So if you standing back and you arguing with a man because you 3-letter and he's 4-letter, and you trying to say whether or not he's legitimate, his legitimacy comes from his will to keep his obligation true.
That's it. That's
what they don't understand. It ain't whether I went to last month's meeting, it ain't whether I'm 3-letter or 4-letter or whether I got the rights to practice Freemasonry somewhere else or not, but it's what I do with the obligation that I gave myself.
That's it.
Because I put myself under that obligation. I came with my own free will and accord. I was led by God, and I ain't gonna do no more than what my capital allowed me to do. And people even misunderstand that because the ability of the living your
Hello?
Me.
Oh, I'm losing this call. Hey, give me a call back in about 2 shakes. Boy, he's like fire on grease. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'll show you. All right, I'm right back at you. Sorry about that. Yeah, just give me a call back, Brother Walker. I certainly appreciate it if you're able to do it. Just hit me back real quick. I appreciate that. So as he was breaking this down, man, he was really on fire in regards to Freemasonry losing its influence, and we must all check ourselves. We must really begin to take a look at Freemasonry and what do we want to do with it? Because those who are members, we're the only ones who can protect and really uplift Freemasonry, bring back the influence that it had, and to show individuals what it really means to be a Mason. You know, and if we're going to do that, it starts with you, it starts with me, and the same thing goes for the sisters. This isn't just about the Freemasons. This is also about the Order of the Eastern Star, those grand matrons and associate matrons and conductors and associate conductors. This is about those who have been elected to lead the organization. This is about those who've been elected to lead the lodges and grand lodges. This is what we're at today. This is where we're at, and we're going to have to find a way to bring that glit, that glow, that light back in Freemasonry. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Greetings.
I made it back on the line. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that was on my end. Go ahead.
No, I just want brothers to, honestly, at the end of the day, just reevaluate their obligations, reevaluate who they are as Masons. And if this ain't for you, just understand that it ain't for you.
Mm-hmm.
But for the brothers that are willing to sacrifice their time, willing to sacrifice and be humbled enough to come to somebody and learn and get that good advice, that's what makes you a Mason. But right now, we just selling ourselves short because we more worried about numbers.
Well, I'm gonna say this, Brother Walker. Somebody said, Alex Fitzgerald said, the caller I am absolutely impressed. Brother Walker, I mean, you and I have sat down, we've talked, we've had the opportunity to sit in meetings and really fellowship. When I came there, you met me there, and we had that face-to-face conversation. So if
Right.
people don't know, you need to tell people where you at.
I am a part of Most Worshipful Keystone Grand Lodge out of North Carolina. My Blue Lodge is Jerusalem Lodge #1 out of Roanoke Rapids.
All right, now you know. Now you know. I came to North Carolina. Ooh, what a time! What a time! I had, I did, and I appreciate the books.
Always a
Certainly,
pleasure.
certainly.
But I'll give this. When I first came into the lodge, I was seeking something. And I was seeking to be a part of something that was better than me because of all of the wrong that I felt like I had done in my life. And Freemasonry, through the fellowship of the brothers and through my hunger for the knowledge that God put me on a path to get, I have become the man that I am. My wife has stood behind me as an Eastern Star, as a heroine of Jericho, as a lady knight, also as a daughter. And my father-in-law has done the same. My father-in-law is a 33rd.
Is that the one you brought to the house with you?
Huh?
Was he the one that you brought to the house with you?
Exactly.
Okay.
But one thing about it, out of all the knowledge that this man has given me, he has never made me feel less than a man. He has never guided me down a path that he has not been, and he has always pushed me to get knowledge from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that has created the person that I am as a Mason with God's blessing. So I do not say this to discourage, but I say this to encourage every brother to do a self-evaluation of why, #1, they are a Mason. #2, if you have that title, are you living up to that title? Because there's brothers out here that's like me that will go out of state to meet another brother just to have a conversation to continue their growth and their knowledge as a brother. Because we are all obligated to teach one another, to uplift one another, and to celebrate in our upcomings, and also to be that shoulder to cry on in our hard times. And we have to remember that. And if a letter, whether it's 3-letter or 4-letter, can separate a man from being able to do that, then you are not a Mason, because Masonic is spiritual.
You just said, wait a minute.
It's not carnal.
Wait a minute. Time out. You need to back that up. You said if a 3-letter or a 4-letter can separate you, then you're not a Mason.
No.
All right. I just had to bounce that back off of you.
I'm gonna tell you something I learned about 2 years ago. This separation, and people really need to do their research. This separation of 3-letter and 4-letter did not start with John G. Jones and Prince Hall. It started between ancient, free, and accepted Masons and what they considered modern free. The way we operate right now, coming into the lodges, having a certain night that we meet, that was considered modern. So the same thing that started the separation from Prince Hall and John G. Jones was started almost 100 years before him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say this again. If you will let a letter, because that's all you're doing, if you will let a letter separate you from your brothers, then you are not a Mason. Because if that's the case, then how can we be mad with mainstream or a white Mason that lets our color separate us from being brothers? We can't be mad with them if we doing the same thing.
Damn.
We can't be, because I got literature that talks about each state and how they came in to be a part of Freemasonry in the whole United States. But if we gonna let race, we can't pull the racist card with black and white if we pulling the same card with 3-letter and 4-letter. You understand what I'm saying? We fighting for recognition amongst our own.
Oh my God!
And when I say people, I'm not saying black. When I say people, I'm saying brother. Whether you white, black, Mexican, or Chinese, I'm not talking about a race color. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That Freemasonry, just like belief in faith, is above color or creed. It says that. Go back and look at your ritual. Go back and look at the principles that Freemasonry was founded on. Because you have to remember that everything that God made was good. Man created the problems between each other because we couldn't speak each other's languages, and we didn't understand the color, the ethnicity of the people.
Uh-huh.
But when I say people, I say brother, because we all one. Anybody that it tells you that anybody that you saw the sign or you heard the words, run to their aid because they travel the same road that you did. So regardless of whether they black, white, Chinese, or ethnic, whatever their ethnic color is, it don't matter. But we tend to look at the whites and say, oh, they white, we black. We separate because of this, but they need to come together. But we won't send the olive branch on the other side of the aisle, and we all the same color. But you would accept somebody else that you ain't even checked their jurisdiction. All you checked was their skin color. So because he white and he got on the 3 grapes, then he got to be my brother. So you try to hurry up and bring him in the lodge, but you don't know whether or not he a pretender. Because what it say that make you a Mason? Your obligation. If you can't spit it and you don't live by it, then your obligation ain't nothing because you ain't got it.
Oh.
I'd rather give you my obligation than my dues card. You can try me on both though.
Oh, man, absolutely. This is absolutely facts, absolutely truth behind that. You can't run from that. You can't run from it. You can't even put that light up under a tree. It'll catch fire, bro. Dang, bro. It has totally been awesome tonight to have you on. It is good to hear your voice and to know that the family is well. And I'm headed back that way this summer. I just want you to know I'm headed back that way this summer. And I'm looking forward again to the fellowship.
When you come this time, I got some more books I want to turn you on to.
Okay.
Them last 3 was the start, but I got some more stuff I want you to look at.
Oh yeah, man. I tell you. So look, we're gonna go ahead and close up tonight's show. I appreciate you calling in, and it was meant because you let it flow, bro. You really let it flow. You let all of this was in it. So once again, everybody who's on tonight, thank you. We appreciate you. You make this show. This show right here, John G. Jones Research Lodge, you make the show. And we appreciate you tuning in to voice your opinion. This is the format. This is it. This is open to everybody. It may, the name, just because the name is open to all Masons. It really is. And anybody can call in. If you got something you want to say and it's on the topic that we're talking about, you're welcome to call in. Because I'm going to say this before I close. I was in a group and they shut me out the group because I was vocal in what I was saying. I wouldn't back down. So this is how the channel got started, to be honest, because I was pissed because they was like, no, you're talking too much. No, be quiet. No, and I wouldn't, because what they were saying was absolutely incorrect. And I knew it based on fact. So with that being said, I want to say thanks, everyone. Peace to you. Blessings, Brother Walker. And I thank you. I really, really thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. And whatever you do, be the example. Keep your light on. Stay out the bushes. The higher we climb, the clearer the vision. I'm out. Peace and be well.
All right.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And I look to see you soon. I'm out.